purpose of this interview is to learn more about my dad, Joe Magdalani's Palestinian background and how his family came to the United States. I'm conducting this interview for my interviewing class. It has to be an oral history of someone older than me, so I chose you, Dad. And I would like to learn more about our Middle Eastern heritage.
Great.
This interview should only take 15 minutes. I will ask you a question and ask you to respond. If you need me to clarify or repeat a question, please feel free to let me know. Please make sure you look at the camera as you answer the question. If you're ready, we'll get started.
I'm ready.
Perfect. Question 1. Where are your mom and dad from?
So my mom and dad were both born in Palestine. That's in the Middle East. My mom was born in a town called Acre, and my dad was born in a town called Haifa.
Question 2. Where did they grow up?
So they grew up in those towns, although when they were probably teenagers or late teens, they had to be evacuated to Beirut, Lebanon, because there was a war starting in Palestine. So until teenagers, they were in Palestine, but after that, they were in Beirut, Lebanon.
What religion did they grow up practicing?
So my mom is Catholic. Her whole family was Catholic, and my dad was Orthodox Christian, which is really close to the Catholic religion in the Middle East. They're very, very close. And we were raised Catholic growing up.
Okay. Where were you born?
So that's a weird story, because my dad had jobs all over the world, and he had one job in Libya. And while he was there for a 3-year job, I was born in the capital city of Libya, which is called Benghazi.
I skipped a question. Number 4. How did your parents meet each other?
That's another good story. My dad and my uncle, which is my mom's older brother, were best friends. And my uncle introduced my mom to my dad, and they got along really well, and the rest is history.
How did your family end up in the United States?
Another really good question. So my father, while we're now living in Lebanon, I'm 6 and my brother's 9, and my dad realizes that the Middle East is just going to keep going from one war to another, and he realizes that there's really no big future for us there. So he arranges for himself to get a job in New York City, and he already knows English because the school system there teaches you the home language, which in their case was Arabic, and French and English. So they already knew how to speak English real well. He got a job in New York, my mom got a job in New York, and we moved to New York City from Lebanon when I was 6.
Aha. How did you become a United States citizen?
So in this country, when your mom and dad become naturalized citizens, which they did 5 or 6 years after we immigrated here in 1967, as a child, you automatically become a United States citizen when you turn 18. So there was nothing to it for me because they became citizens, and when I became an adult, I automatically became a citizen.
Gotcha. Where did you go to school? You kind of already partially answered.
Well, yeah, so we moved to New York when I was 6, and I went to 1st and 2nd grade in New York. But when I was 8, we moved to Toledo, Ohio, and I went to all public schools in Toledo. I went to a school called Glan Elementary, I went to McTighe Junior High, and I went to Rogers High School in Toledo.
Perfect. When did you learn to speak English?
So that's, I'll make this a short story, but we moved here in August when I was 6 years old. I didn't know a word of English. I actually knew how to say hello, and that was it. And my mom took me to 1st grade in September, so we'd been here since August, and she basically took my hand and gave it to my 1st grade teacher and left. And everybody was really nice, And like in a month or 6 weeks, I was speaking English as well as any 6-year-old kid could speak. So that's how. Just by
kinda picked it
osmosis. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Everybody around was speaking English, so.
Yeah. Were you treated badly by anyone when you were a kid due to your ethnicity?
Well, you know, kids pick on other kids for all kinds of reasons, and I never thought we were treated badly. But as I remember it now, I could have taken it the wrong way, because people did call us kind of some ethnic slurs. But it never really bothered me that much, so I really have to answer no, although my brother was a little older and he got the worst of it than I did with the ethnic slurs and stuff, but it never really bothered me. Kids liked me and I thought they were just kind of kidding around.
Was it difficult to adjust to life in the United States for you or your parents? Or your brother, for that case?
That's a great thing. So my mom and dad already knew English, I said that, and they are really good adjusters, so that was not a problem. My brother was 3 years older than I was when we came, so I think he had the hardest time. I don't think I had a problem at all. I was kind of happy to be with my mom and dad, and like I said, in a month or two I was speaking English pretty well. And it was kind of neat. And then a couple years later, we moved to Toledo. I made a whole bunch of new friends, so I don't think I had any problems.
What language did you speak at home growing up?
So my mom and dad insisted we keep speaking Arabic at home, and because of that, I can still speak Arabic today. So we spoke English, and we're fine with English, but at home we spoke Arabic, and I thought that was really awesome since I can still speak it today. Should have done that with you guys.
You should have, because I don't know a lick of Arabic.
Right.
Do you have any memories of your grandparents or other relatives still in the Middle East?
Yeah. Starting with grandparents, when I was born, I only had 2 grandparents alive. They were grandmas. Both my granddads, unfortunately, had passed away. But I have really fun memories up until the age of 6 of both grandmas. And then the one passed away, my mom's mom, but my dad's mom actually visited when your sister was born in 1990, and so I have really fun memories of her. I had an aunt, an uncle, and a bunch of cousins there that I remember, but unfortunately we haven't seen each other since then. I've never gone back.
That would make sense. Did your parents approve of you marrying Mom, who was an American girl?
So my whole life, my mom and dad kind of let us know they wanted us to marry Arabic girls. But they loved Brenda from the beginning, my wife, who's German and Irish. So they approved. They loved her. My mom never had a daughter. It's like the daughter she never had.
Good. Do your parents expect things of you today due to their own culture?
I would say yes, they do. I think in general, they have much higher expectations from me than kind of what I see among my friends. But it's kind of the way I was brought up, so it's no big deal. I think my wife, my American wife, is super understanding about their culture and their ethnicity and all the stuff they expect. So she would have kind of a bigger adjustment, but she's been awesome about it.
She has. And final question. What is the most important Middle Eastern value that you hope you instill in your own children?
Wow, that's a good question. I want my kids to know their heritage and to be proud of their heritage. It's easy in our culture to not want to be Arabic because they're depicted on TV as terrorists. But that really doesn't represent the vast majority of Arabs. I think most of them are like me. They're hardworking. They're good citizens. And so I want my kids to be proud of their heritage. There's a lot to be proud of, their heritage. They were among the first scientists, the first mathematicians. They were the first ones to chart the stars. Arabs did a lot of really awesome things. So I want them to be proud of that.
Thank you so much for your time, Dad. I appreciate learning more about our heritage, and I will get this to you in a couple of days.
Great, thank you.